Viewers, not many channels are carrying this story, and that's for obvious reasons. But I'm not going down that road. For the first time ever, the Vadras have made their asset declarations public. This has happened because Priyanka Gandhi Vadra had to file an affidavit declaring her financials while filing her nomination papers from Wayanad for the upcoming Lok Sabha by-election. Vadra, it turns out, has assets worth nearly 12 crores, while her husband, Robert Vadra, holds assets valued at around 66 crores. Priyanka's most valuable asset is a 12,000 square foot farmhouse near Shimla, valued at rupees 5.64 crore. She also owns a Honda CRV worth rupees 8 lakhs, and those numbers and those graphics we're going to put out right there, viewers, for you to see. Described as a gift from her husband, that is the CRV. Viewers, according to PTI, her movable assets amount to over 4.24 crore, including deposits in 3 bank accounts, investments in mutual funds, a public provident fund or a PPF, and over 4,400 grams of gold worth rupees 1.15 crore. Her movable assets worth rupees 7.74 crore include 2 inherited half shares of agricultural land in Mehrauli, New Delhi, valued at 2.10 crore, as well as her Shimla property that I just told you about. Her husband, viewers, is much better off. Here's a quick glance at what the husband also owns. And let me run you through his assets as declared by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra in her affidavit. So he has, viewers, limited liability partnerships, so LLPs, worth 35.5 crores. It's on your screens. Properties in Gurugram, about 27.64 crore. Land Cruiser, 53 lakhs. Mini Cooper, 1.5 lakhs. And a Suzuki motorcycle of 4.22 lakhs. But the declaration of assets, viewers, now this is quite customary. So why am I telling you all of this? I could have gone through a large number of other declarations that are being filed by other candidates, viewers. Why did I choose to specifically focus on this? Because the declaration of assets has faced considerable public scrutiny. After all, the Vadras, particularly Robert Vadra, have been accused by several government agencies of amassing wealth disproportionate to their known sources of income. The scrutiny has thrown up some unanswered questions. Here is what seems to be, viewers, the problem. Here is a declared fact. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra and Robert Vadra combined declared an asset base of 78 crores. But there's an unanswered question, because there's also a column, viewers, of income tax demand notices. So how does Priyanka Gandhi Vadra have a pending IT tax demand of rupees 75 crores between 2010 and 2021? How is it that the pending IT tax demands are more than the entire asset portfolio of both the Vadras? This is a question that is piquing the interest of a lot of people, viewers. Here's another declared fact. The largest pending tax department demand of rupees 24.16 crore came in the assessment year 2019-2020. Now the unanswered question is, the demand is usually large when compared to the declared combined income of both Vadras. And that also just for 1 year. Again, viewers, a mismatch. Now remember, all these demands have been challenged, and they're all pending before the CITA. And viewers, as of now, there is a stay on reclaiming this money. Here's another declared fact. The purchase of shares in several listed businesses and business majors is now out there because entities have been listed. The Vadras are investing, and this is the unanswered question, in the very same company that the Congress accuses of being favored by Prime Minister Modi. The Congress constantly talks about this company as one that has benefited due to cronyism, crony capitalism. Viewers, yet the Vadras have invested in this company. It's an interesting fact, viewers, answered question. Here's another declared fact. The purchase of 922 square meters of land in Charabra in Himachal Pradesh has been declared, it's been accepted. What is the unanswered question? Did the Vadras seek exemption under Section 118 of the Himachal Pradesh Tenancy and Land Reforms Act 1972 to purchase non-agricultural land in Himachal Pradesh? And if they did, viewers, where's the proof? This question is very important because outsiders are not allowed to buy property in Himachal Pradesh. You have to be domiciled there. And the only way an exception can be made to buy non-agricultural land is if you seek an exception under the clause that I talked to you about. Then there's the added mystery of the known unknown. A few years ago, the ITAT noted in one of its orders that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra had come to acquire shares in the Associated Journals Limited that owns the National Herald newspaper. Intriguingly, the BJP is asking why this stake hasn't been declared. The Congress is yet to respond specifically. Neither has Priyanka Gandhi Vadra responded officially. The Income Tax Department's assessment order of 2022, I'm going to read it to you, viewers, to fulfill the objective of acquiring 100% shares of AJL, which is Associated Journals Limited. One of the majority shareholders of the SSE, Young India, Rahul, along with Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, had purchased additional 47,513 and 2,62,411 shares through Ratan Deep Trust and Janhit Nidhi Trust respectively without complying with the Companies Act, unquote. The unanswered question is, can the Congress explain why the Vadra affidavit makes no mention of these AJL shares? Is it possible that these AJL shares have either been suppressed or they have been surrendered? Now, viewers, these are very material and important questions that need to be answered because, viewers, why do various politicians file these affidavits? So that they can present to the public a clean breast of their accounts so that we can judge if they're honest or not, if they have disproportionate assets to their known source of income. And if there has been suppression, viewers, that is a breach of trust. Now, obviously, these questions can only be answered by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Yet, viewers, 24 hours have come and gone since this affidavit was filed and questions were raised, but there is no response. No response from Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. The unanswered questions have triggered a massive war of words between the BJP and the Congress. The BJP has come out and said the affidavit is an admission of corruption by the Gandhi family and Robert Vadra. 3 members of the Congress party's first family are facing serious corruption charges. Robert Vadra came out and said, and we all know that he is the husband, viewers, of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. He's come out and said, and I quote him, "Even after 10 years, the BJP has no concrete case against me. This is a political tactic to discredit Priyanka Gandhi and the Congress," unquote. Now, viewers, no specific responses to the unanswered questions. You'll note it's a general motherhood sort of statement. Udit Raj, Congress leader, a bit player, viewers, known to shoot his mouth off. He's come out and said, and I quote, "I have worked in the IT department. Sometimes demands are raised above the value of assets. Matter is under appeal and no decision has been made." Viewers, he goes on to say BJP's charges are unfounded, unquote. These are not the BJP's charges, viewers. This question or these series of questions are being raised because the disclosure has been made by the Vadras. The BJP didn't arm twist anyone to make any disclosures. They have to do this if Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has to stand for elections for the reasons I just told you. So Udit Raj is suggesting that the IT department is usually at fault, and it does happen sometimes. You do get, viewers, inflated demands, but to this extent, viewers, and that too under Congress regimes for 4 years. So in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, for all those financial years, she was being asked questions about her undeclared income and being furnished one demand notice after the other. Under the UPA, surely the UPA was not out to fix Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, viewers, unless they were above board in every which way. Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Sena UBT, she's a member of parliament, she's come out and said, and I quote, IT demand against Vadra is brazen political vendetta. These are weak arguments to hide the BJP's impending failure in Wayanad. But no one is coming out to explain. Fine, I can understand after 2014 there was vendetta because Modi came to office and all of this. But what about the pre-Modi years? For 4 years, there were certain notices and demands raised by the IT. So viewers, there are some specific questions, and it's always good for those who are the direct stakeholders to answer them. But we don't have an answer, and therefore I have to ask some questions, viewers, and let's open this up. Let's have a rational debate, because we've got with us a panel that can really put their finger on the pulse of the issue. I want to first start with the national spokesperson and the in charge of the BJP's IT cell, Amit Malviya, as also Congress leader, senior Congress leader, Shyam Prasad Meka. Now, let me first begin with you, Mr. Meka, as we go into this face-off. It's an important question. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty right now. I just want to ask you the most basic question. Why hasn't Priyanka Gandhi Vadra responded? Does she think she's above question? Does she believe that she has no obligations to the voters of Wayanad, who perhaps need to know if she is squeaky clean, if all these monies add up, if all these unanswered questions are legitimate? This is a democracy at the end of the day. Don't you think so?
Rahul, that's the reason why all the candidates declare their assets and liabilities.
Yeah.
They are accountable to the electorate. Now, whether there is something wrong in what they have declared or not, that's not for a TV studio debate.
Oh.
That's for the IT department and for the election commission to look into it.
Okay.
So?
No, 1 second. By her own admission, Mr. Meka. Mr. Meka, by her own admission, she has said right back from 2010, there have been income tax demand notices.
Okay.
Right. She has admitted that. I have not invented this. Ishkaran Bhandari, Amit Malviya, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, and neither have you and neither has Dr. Raman admitted this, or forced her into making any statements.
What do you mean?
Or filled in the blanks. She has come out and admitted. So I'm only asking you, if people today are raising questions, if the principal opposition is raising questions, should she not at least issue a perfunctory statement, whatever it might be, so we can assess it, test it against the facts?
No, 1 second. See, she has declared her assets and liabilities to the election commission. She has declared and also contested the demand notices of IT department. While she is dealing with those two departments, where is the question of she is very transparent? Why should she come out and issue a statement?
Why didn't she say this in a statement? She could easily have come out and said, look, this is a matter between me and the IT department. Why is the BJP getting into it? Why are people in public domain asking questions to me? I have made a clean record. What you're saying could easily have been, her husband has come out. Why should her husband be speaking for her? Why should her brother be the proxy for her? Is she not in charge?
See, 1 second.
Yes.
What do you mean her husband is speaking, her brother is
He's come out and issued a statement. So, I read it for you. So if he can issue a statement, why can't she? After all, it is her affidavit.
No, 1 second. See, the affidavit declares the assets and liabilities of both the spouses, right? That's about it. No, now
so you don't think so? If this had been Modi, and if in Modi's case, Jairam Ramesh had pulled out certain problems and said, no, there are some questions, you would have said, why hasn't Modi held a press conference? Why hasn't he come out in public? Why hasn't he made a declaration of what he is supposed to be answering to? And these are the 10 questions. Yesterday he was meeting the Chinese president, and 6 questions were fired from Jairam Ramesh's shoulder. Bang, 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 bang. 6 questions. Today, not a squeak. I'm asking you, Mr. Meka, why? Before I bring in Amit Malviya.
See, simple thing is,
Simple.
even if it is Modi or anybody,
Okay.
the relevant authorities will ask the question.
Relevant
we are in
authority.
public life.
So public is not relevant. Okay,
No, no,
so
we-
viewers,
No,
they
let me
want your
finish.
vote, but they couldn't care
Let me finish. Let me
even an
finish.
iota
Rahul,
for your view or
Let
for
me
your
finish.
question. Relevant,
Let-
you are not relevant at all. No, you've said it, and I respect that, Shyam
no,
Prasad
let me-
Meka.
let me
That is a very
finish.
good admission to make. The public,
Nah,
they are not
you are-
relevant. The voter is not relevant.
so-
I have
so you
posted
will
like
run
a
away.
postman.
You will
I have
run
put
away
out
with
the
your
stuff,
narrative.
and that's the end of it. No, hang on. Let me bring in Amit
You
Malviya.
run away with your narrative. Then.
No, there is no runaway. I'm only quoting you back and your logic.
So finish. Let me finish.
Okay, finish.
Let the relevant authorities handle the stuff.
Okay.
In being in public life,
Right.
we will be answerable if the public raises the questions.
They have
Let
raised
me
the question. There are several people on social media that the Congress party lives by is raising these questions. Those are people also.
So it's clear. No, there
It's
is
clear.
a
Okay,
clearly
it's all
it is
clear,
there in the
viewers.
affidavit.
We may as well just wrap up and go home. It's all clear. Then why are these cases still hanging fire, viewers? If it's all clear, is the IT department
That
crazy
you should ask
to
the
waste
IT
public money?
department.
Would the UPA era IT department also be raising claims? Would these lands that have been bought without, we don't know, permission or permission, we don't know, are they legal purchases? There are several questions. Amit Malviya, he says, what's your problem? This is a matter between the IT department, let them settle it.
Rahul, thank you so much for taking up this very important debate, because the Congress venerates the Gandhi family, and of course their entire politics revolves around them. I want to make a few points other than what you have already listed out in your opening comments. I heard that Robert Vadra has gone on record to say that there has been no case pending against him and that the authorities haven't found anything. I just want to let your viewers know that he is being economical with truth. As per my information, at the moment there are 3 major cases that he is being investigated for. The first regarding a property in London, which is believed to be a Benami property, and the eventual beneficiary of it is Robert Vadra. There have been investigations. Robert Vadra has been questioned. There are email correspondences of his secretary with those who were responsible for the renovation of this property, and there have been several other arrests in this case that have been made, and the matter continues to be under investigation. The second scam for which he is being investigated is the Shikopur land scam, in which his company Skylight bought a land parcel of 3.5 acres at throwaway prices and made a few crore rupees as windfall profit. The third land scam, the Kolayat land scam in Jaipur, is also under investigation. So when Priyanka Vadra's husband Robert Vadra claims that there are no cases pending against him, he is being economical with truth. I don't see any one of these cases that I've mentioned under cases as far as Robert Vadra is concerned. Similarly, the FIR in the Associated Journal Limited, which you mentioned in your opening comment, also does not find mention in Priyanka Vadra's affidavit, neither as investment nor as a matter that is pending against her. Now, having said that, the larger question that the people of this country want to ask is that how does somebody declare assets totaling up to 66 plus 12 between husband and wife, and the outstanding tax liability on that amount is more than their declared asset, which means that if they were to actually pay the taxes that are demanded of them, their net worth would be wiped out completely. Also, what is the source of income? Because if tax worth 80 crore is pending, then it obviously means that you've had a business or you've had financial dealings or transactions which have been several times over, and that is how you are liable to pay this kind of money. Therefore, the Congress and the first family of the Congress is neck deep in corruption. This is the record of the last 10 years. And I wonder what would it have been like in the UP era when Robert Vadra obviously had a free run, and we all know about that, to contest and continuously contest demands made by IT to such a large extent requires a great deal of legal maneuvering. Therefore, somebody with very deep pockets and influence is trying to usurp the taxpayers' money.
Okay.
Lastly, I want to remind your viewers that all the three, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra, are currently out on bail in the AJL matter. AJL does not find any mention in her affidavit at all. Now, these anomalies or these omissions raise several questions over Priyanka Vadra's own financial dealing, that of her husband and the entire family. It is for the people of this country to judge how clean the Gandhis have been, and of course the IT will do its job, the agencies investigating Robert Vadra will do their job, but this affidavit of Priyanka Vadra is really not up to mark, and it conceals more than it reveals.
No, I'll come back to you, Mr. Malviya, on a couple of questions that I have specifically, but let me bring in Dr. Raman and Mr. Iyer and Ishkaran Bhandari also now into this. Ishkaran Bhandari, of course, with Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, has been looking very deeply into the AJL issue. So let me just ask you, Dr. Raman, I'm going to quote an order. This is the Income Tax Department's assessment order of 2022. And it says, to fulfill the objectives of acquiring 100% shares of AJL, one of the majority shareholders of the assessees, Young India, Rahul, along with Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, had purchased additional 47,513 and 2,62,411 shares through the Ratandeep Trust and Janhit Nidhi Trust respectively, without complying with Companies Act. The same investigation had also led to the discovery of 3 DINs as they are called in normal parlance. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's name, she had to give up 2 of them because it's illegal to have more than one. She had to pay a fine. So there are legitimate questions because this AJL share holding is now no longer visible in this declared affidavit. So what's your response to this, sir?
Rahul, I have no doubt that one day BJP will come to power in the center, Mr. Modi will become Prime Minister, and he will ensure that justice is done speedily. Okay, I have no doubt at all. But on a serious note, Rahul, the fact that you have taken up this topic for debate actually prompts people not to ask what Priyanka Vadra has allegedly concealed or not concealed. It prompts people to ask the question, what has this government done in 10.5 years? Rahul, you will remember, Rahul, in 2017 or 18, thereabouts, I remember, we had multiple debates on the Skylight Hospitality, all the particular cases that Mr. Malviya, AJL, I think it's been going on since 2013-14.
True.
Some of these are date back to 2010. So after, I can understand, if this question was asked after a year or 2 years of a government being in power, this is a topic worthy of debate. 11 years later, with complete control of virtually every agency in the country, we are asking this question, what is Priyanka Vadra concealing? Why is she hiding this? I mean, I think it is, quite frankly, it is self-defeating because the question people are going to ask is not about Robert Vadra's 66 crore or Priyanka Vadra's 12 crore. They are going to ask, what have you done in 10 and a half years?
This is the first time. Fair enough. Dr. Raman, I'm going to ask that question of Mr. Malviya, and I said that I would come back to it immediately. But I just want to remind viewers something. In 2012, and viewers, I always do my homework and I show up here with the hard facts. October 6th, and you can check this out. Two individuals, Arvind Kejriwal and Prashant Bhushan, held a press conference. Ayyar Mitra, Mr. Bhandari, you'll all remember this. It was, as they said, a red letter day in Indian politics. These are their words, not mine. And they said, Robert Vadra, Rahul Gandhi's son-in-law, is indulging in large-scale corruption in real estate dealings. The IAC members, as they were then, now these are all viewers today, allies, camp followers of the Congress, by the way. So I'm not cooking anything up here. These are their words. They allege that real estate giant DLF had sold him prime land at throwaway prices and given him interest-free loans. They said Robert Vadra's wealth grew from 50 lakh to over rupees 300 crores in 3 years. Prashant Bhushan said the balance sheets of 5 companies, he was not talking out of the top of his head, he was holding up balance sheets of 5 companies set up by Vadra and his mother show that the, quote, total share capital of these companies was just rupees 50 lakh, unquote. In the last 4 years, Robert Vadra has gone on a property buying binge and has purchased at least 31 properties, mostly in and around New Delhi, which even at the time of their purchase were worth several hundred crores, unquote. And he was showing these documents, viewers. Robert Vadra acquired properties worth hundreds of crores from nothing. What is the source of these funds? The same questions that are being asked today were asked back then, viewers. This is Arvind Kejriwal now taking over from Bhushan and asking these questions. He also distributed scanned copies of documentary evidence to back his claim. Kejriwal demanded the government to probe into the benefits Robert Vadra may have received in corrupt property deals. Robert Vadra, who comes from a brass and wood handicraft merchant's family, as we all know, is married, of course, into the Gandhi family. Now, Amit Malviya, all of this is known. There are all these documents. So fundamentally, where have these investigations gone? It's been 10 years. And if this is the kind of alleged fraud, then obviously the people would want to ask you questions.
Look, I'm glad that Sumansi Raman asked this question. I know his spouse is a judge in a leading high court of the country, and he of all people should know that Indian judiciary, like India's democracy, grinds slow but grinds fine. Therefore, the matter have been under investigation. If the agencies show extra enthusiasm, you would accuse the government of being vindictive. If the agencies take their time, you will accuse them of being tardy and slow. Okay. But having said that, I want to remind everybody who's questioning the government, just in about 2 years ago, 2022-23, that period, when the agencies called the Gandhis for investigation, we all saw what kind of tamasha they did. They had their leaders occupying roads, courting arrest because the Gandhis had been questioned. Now, if the spokespeople of the Congress and their allied ecosystem like Mr. Raman and others, if they think that the law must take its course, they must have a word of advice for the Gandhis that next time when you're called for questioning, do not make a tamasha out of it. Do not get your supporters and leaders on the street, wear black bands and come to the parliament and do all those kind of things. Face the law as it is. You're not above law. But the problem
at least
is
two of
the
them are
Gandhis
out
think
on
they are
bail.
above law.
Correction.
At least two of them are out on bail. One second.
One correction, Rahul. Not all the cases are in court.
Yeah, we all know that. Not all of them.
Some tribunal,
yes.
Some are before the company law tribunal.
Yes,
and
no
these
doubt.
are not.
No doubt.
Yeah,
but why are they
don't
before
say
the
everything
tribunals,
before the
viewers? No one is asking that question. Because there is, as they say, no smoke without fire.
I must correct you there, Rahul.
Yeah.
The
Yes, go ahead.
Are you conducting a trial here?
1 second, Mr. Malviya. Go ahead.
Well, the fact is that...
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Mr. Malviya, you wanted to correct me. Go ahead. You wanted to make a correction. Go ahead, please.
No, I just wanted to make an intervention on what Sumansi Raman said. While these matters may be in front of various tribunals, but the fact is that they've also gone through the judicial process. I mean, the courts have denied any kind of reprieve to the Gandhis, and that is why the tribunals are looking at it. So let's not make it as if the courts are not seized with the matter. Each of this matter has actually gone through the judicial process.
So
the Gandhis have got no reprieve and they are under investigation.
Which is a fact. And now let me bring in Mr. Iyer Mitra and Mr. Bhandari. Mr. Bhandari, the charge inevitably is this is a witch hunt. Give us 3 or 4 facts that establish that it isn't a witch hunt.
Rahul, firstly, let's understand why you have to declare your assets in an election affidavit. It's not only a moral wrong. If you hide your assets, it's deemed to be a corrupt practice and can lead to disqualification. That is why citizens have an inherent right to know of what is the education qualification, what are the criminal cases against you, what are the assets against you, and that's a general law of the land. Anybody who hides any of this is indulging in corrupt practices. So what happens when you file an affidavit is there are people who will probably go to court if they find that assets have been hidden. So this will also logically go to court if they find that assets are hidden. So that is point number 1. That's the general law of the land, which will apply to every case, including this case if there's found. The second aspect which you need to understand is the entire purpose of having an election affidavit is so that there is transparency and people get to know what you're doing. Now, I find that this affidavit raises more questions than answers. In the last few years, the income being declared by Mr. Robert Vadra is 9 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, the amounts which have been shown in the media. Now, how does anybody showing that amount of income get assets worth this amount, 60 or 70 crores? That's a question which obviously arises to anybody. Anybody living in Delhi, if your annual income is 9, 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs, how do you make assets? You can't buy a flat in Gurgaon in that income level. So that means the income in previous years must have been very massive, which was not covered under the rules of how you file an election affidavit. Was that the reason they were not contesting elections at that time? That has to be seen. I don't have an answer to that because, as I said, this election affidavit is raising questions on multiple points. Now, one more point which is very important. We saw Mr. Rahul Gandhi's affidavit. We saw Mr. Robert Vadra's. We have seen Mrs. Priyanka Vadra's. All of them are invested in stock markets. All of them are in influential positions. All of them routinely attack certain companies. Is that having an effect? Because they have portfolios, again, we don't know the answer. That probably would require some amount of inquiry because routinely they are taking stand. And if you are a substantial investor in stock market, should you be taking those stands against companies without disclosures at the time you have taken stand? What is your stakeholding in various companies or rival companies or associated companies? These are all questions of public probity. These are all questions which leaders have to follow.
Who do you think should investigate them?
1 second, let me finish.
No, 1 second. There's a hypocrisy, Dr. Raman. Don't shout, calm down. There's a hypocrisy here. You can't be calling every businessman a crony of Modi and then also investing in that company as shareholders. I mean, hypocrisy bhi ki koi seema hoti hai, as they say. 1 second. Let me bring in Mr. Iyer. Yes. 1 second. Let me just bring. Yeah. Okay.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah, finish your point.
So, as I said, the whole purpose of election affidavit is to give transparency, but this seems to have opened a Pandora's box, and I believe it will lead to a certain amount of litigation, and let's wait for the result of that.
Well, viewers, let me bring in Mr. Iyer. Mr. Iyer, let relevant people ask and probe. Why are we jumping around getting so excited? Mr. Vadra says he's a very successful businessman. He's always prided himself in being a multi-crore tycoon, and he said it publicly. I have never needed to verify this. Please go Google, you'll see all his statements. So I just hope you haven't fallen on such bad times where your income is less than 12 lakhs, etc., for the whole year. I can't understand this. Someone who says that they are worth 500 crores, etc., suddenly are declaring income of 12 lakhs, 13, 15 lakhs, I don't know, a year.
Yeah. So there are several issues that have been brought up. I want to flag 4 issues very specifically. The first, is this accusation of tax harassment. You see, what has happened is, first of all, in the last 10 to 15 years, all the money trails have been made electronic. Shares are demat. Your transfers, no transaction over 2 lakhs can be done in cash. It all has to be done in electronic payment. The penetration of electronic payment has become very, very deep across the country. And so the forensics of finding out expenditure, income, all of this has become much, much easier. Progress in software means that different data can be correlated and big picture, macro data synthesization happens much easier now. It's not rocket science, that kind of software.
True.
Third, there has been a 9-fold expansion of the tax infrastructure, the tax detection and collection infrastructure. Now, statistically, when it expands to that big a number, you're going to have more people getting flagged and getting caught out. Trust me on this, Rahul, when I say I hate the taxman, and there are times where I wish I could choke them given how pig-headed they are. It's a sentiment I think most Indians would share. The problem is, before this, the system was so corrupt. You could cut off deals with individual taxman and say, "Main tere ko itna paisa dunga, you reduce my tax burden." That the entire system has been made to overcompensate for that, where if a taxman even agrees when you make a reasonable claim with him, and he then says, okay, we don't have to tax this person, it gets flagged in the system.
That's right.
Where that particular taxman then has to respond to the ED, to his own IT bosses, etc., etc. So is it an extremely frustrating, abuse-worthy system? Yes. But is it born out of local necessity and things like that? Yes. So first, let's get rid of this tax harassment charge. Okay. This is basic stuff. Anybody who knows the system will know this is not harassment.
Okay.
And this comes to the point that Amit Malviya made. Had it been done too early, it would have been vindictive. If it takes too late, then you are cutting out due process. These people have been given adequate due process, the ITAT hearings, case hearings and all of that. Third point is, the sheer hypocrisy out here. That after attacking Ambani Adani, Dhirubhai Ambani studied under a light on the roadside.
True.
And now they attack his children for making money. This man, Mr. Robert Vadra, was a producer of extremely low quality costume jewelry. Suddenly, a producer of costume jewelry becomes a multi-billion-dollar businessman, and we are meant to believe this just happened. How is it so convenient that it only happens in the 10 years that the UPA government is in charge?
Okay, I don't want to apportion any blame right now. Viewers, this was not about holding a court trial. This is about asking questions. We've posed some questions, we've got some answers. The person who needs to answer is Priyanka Gandhi Vadra or the Congress spokespersons, and I'm not seeing them there. I mean, when I'm saying the Congress spokesperson, I mean the lead spokesperson. No answers, viewers. So we are again fumbling in the dark. Maybe they all think they're above question. And maybe, viewers, as voters, you can remind them that you do exist, that you are relevant. I'll move on, viewers, because